typography?
Post-typography is a movement, and it's two guys in Baltimore who make graphic design, and it's their philosophy. It's about throwing away the rules and stepping on Times Roman and Helvetica and making your own type, making your own letters.
It's kind of what the two members of Post Typography wish for it to be at the moment when they're working on it, I think. Basically, it's a vehicle for them to kind of pursue the processes they want to pursue.
Kind of a catch-all name for Nolan Strauss and Bruce Willen's graphic design endeavors in music. I guess it's kind of all tied together. It's always been, just like a lot of terms, I think, started as one thing and sort of grown into others.
Cool design outfit run by a couple of friends, Bruce Willen and Nolan Strauss.
Mm-hmm.
Although I met them first before I kind of knew what they were into.
Sometimes it's a graphic design house, sometimes it's a kind of left wing, I shouldn't say left wing, but a anarchist-based form for getting information out.
Post typography is like the name that we operate under for like the graphic design and the illustration and the curatorial work that we do together.
Yeah, it's kind of the umbrella label that we give as opposed to collaborative work that we've done that's in the visual realm.
Bruce and Nolan were students of mine back in the old days when they went to MICA, and they both took a bunch of classes with me, but I don't think I ever really taught them anything. They were kind of troublemakers and outsiders and intellectuals too. I think one of the funny things about them is that although they have this really bad boy sensibility, they're really smart and they really think a lot, and they're both great writers and thinkers about design and music and life.
Yeah, Post Typography first came about. We'd been in this band together called League of Death, which was this metal, we wanted it to be this heavy metal band, but we weren't really skilled enough musicians.
So it was like a hardcore band where we fell down and broke our equipment and did stuff like that.
So that was kind of when Nolan and I first started collaborating together.
I think they Nolan and Bruce had, of course they had distinct personalities, but also distinct approaches to design. I think they balance each other out in kind of an interesting way.
And so we kind of developed the idea for Post Typography in a similar instance. And another time that we snuck into the mailroom in the middle of the night, and we were downloading gay pornography on Nolan's boss's computer because we needed some penises for this collage that we were making on this
poster.
Yeah.
Because the headline band, all of their songs are about a sexual dysfunction. And at the time I really hated the Beatles, and so I cut their heads off. And I was like, but we have to replace them. And we spent half an hour just trying to figure out what we're going to replace them with. And then we thought of just putting these big boners on their heads.
A lot of the sort of issues that affect our city, Baltimore, are present in their work and also in their music. I think they have a political aesthetic even. I think they're able to maintain a lot of authenticity, and in a way I think that's a political stance.
I did have to poster an anti-George Bush piece that Nolan did once. And it's kind of the only time I ever felt like a weird lefty on the streets. It was the image of George Bush made entirely of little liar text. So it's just said liar, 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 and they were all done. So you had to get about 2 feet from it to read it.
My influences, just personally, they range from the comic books that I read when I was growing up, to the psychedelic, the poster artists of like the 1960s.
We really like a lot of kind of mid-century or like 60s modernist graphic design, because in a way we feel that a lot of the like conceptual basis for that is similar to like what we like to do, and that in the sense that there like a lot of that work was really about the idea rather than trying to do some like crazy like styling.
You know, Bruce and Nolan have this bad boy attitude, and yet their work is receiving all kinds of attention from Metropolis magazine to the New York Times. Is it controversial? Well, it's something new. It's something young and raw and fresh, but it's happening in a world that's kind of ready for their message. I've never heard anyone say that Bruce and Nolan are anti-Baltimore. Do they make fun of Baltimore? Yeah. Do they live and work in Baltimore? Yeah. I mean, these are guys that are making their career in the city, and I think that's really pro-Baltimore.
Yeah, so we're giving our lecture, and it has the shirt with all the weapons, and it has this poster, this tour poster we did, which is actually screen printed on shooting targets. You know, the classic thug shooting target, like the NYPD.
Well, they just recently did a lecture, well, not recently, at, I guess it was in February, in Minneapolis, and a woman came up to them and got really angry with them and said, how can you portray Baltimore like this? And we are trying so hard to make Baltimore look good, and how are you like portraying Baltimore like this?
And I don't know, we were like, well, we live in Baltimore, like we love Baltimore. It's obvious by the way we're talking about Baltimore that we like the city.
And it's obvious, like on that poster, that it's very, like it's tongue-in-cheek, because all of the sound effects, like they're stolen, like from comic books, and they're illustrated in like this comic book style. So, like it's not like, oh, violence.
And again, I think that their stuff has it's definitely, I don't know, you can see a poster and be like, no one posted that, like almost instantly. And again, not being an art student myself or somebody that really studied it, it's tough to put into words, but you know, you definitely know when you know something.
Like with post typography, it started like because we were doing all of like these rock posters. So without like the rock posters, there probably wouldn't be a post typography. That work has sort of like has died down in the past, like I guess about like 2 years, and at this point, we, like the only stuff that is music like related that is under that is under post typography, that label, like stuff like for Double Dagger.
Double Dagger is their punk, noise, art, funk band, whatever you want to call it. It's considered one of the only typographic bands on the planet. What does that mean? Well, they write songs about typography, about Helvetica and word spacing and weird stuff like that.
I even hesitate to call them a punk band at this point. I mean, I don't know if they like that or not. I consider them almost a really good angry pop band. You know, semi-political at this point.
A double dagger is a typographic symbol which is used primarily to indicate footnotes. So if you have a block of text, generally the order that it goes historically, you have the asterisk for the first footnote, the dagger, which is kind of a cross shape for the second footnote, and then if you have a third footnote on the same page, it'd be the double dagger, which is kind of the dagger with the second crossbar.
Best places to see him live. You know, Nolan's a great performer. Bruce is just writing better and better and catchier stuff. And I think Denny was a really great addition for them on drums and sort of took them into the more direct, like less shambly and more just kind of precise and hard-hitting direction. But I've always really loved their music and always, you know, kind of rooting for them to get out to more people.
I don't know. I feel like since I joined the band, it's less orientation towards graphic design, and that's just kind of like more the graphic design is used for packaging and whatnot, which makes it really cool and unique. And that's centered Bruce and Nolan. I mean, they asked me for input what I think. I'm a member of the band, so they're definitely the brainchild.
Well, Bruce and Nolan recently really got post typography to be a professional business. It had been a kind of after hours thing for them, and now they're really making it the center of their work life. And so I think they're going to do great.
They could basically go in whatever direction they want to. I mean, they could. I don't see them especially getting like tight or slick or becoming more a real graphics house. I think that they'll probably, keep it in that somewhat ragged kind of experimental place.
I think they're going to get more clients for around the country because you can't survive on clients from Baltimore. And I think they're going to have a big impact and become really well known.
I think Nolan and Bruce post typography kind of serve as examples to a younger generation of designers in Baltimore. But I think they've really kind of raised the bar when it comes to design.
The future of post typography hopefully will be that, it is a self, a sustaining, a company, that we can live off of. But at the same time, we don't sort of sacrifice the ideas and the style and the attitude that has gotten us here.
I think the thinking, our ideas and the way that we approach our work, conceptually, we take seriously, even if it's penises.
We have a serious reason for having penises.